were some of the things that really disappointed you this legislative session? That's kind of, I can see you got a fire in your belly to run this election.
First of all, the barrel tax. If 100% of that tax were going for a purpose, invasive species control, for ag inspectors, that's one thing. But when it's 60% of what's collected is going into the general fund, that's not right. There's the hurricane fund, the raid on the hurricane fund. That wasn't right. But let's go back a couple of years when the rail tax came about. In the House, you folks had passed unanimously that the state, when it collects that tax to give to the city for its coffers to advance the rail initiative, the state's withholding 10% of those funds. When House Bill 1309, I believe it was, the rail bill was voted on, the people didn't know that. The people weren't told that's the outcome. So all the changes, lack of transparency, lack of sunshine law, has brought upon myself as a candidate to say, I will vote myself out of office if elected. We need term limits. We need to make sure that when people are going into office, it's for the people they represent and not self-serving.
Well, some people will say, well, I know your opponent is against term limits, and she says, well, you
Right.
need experienced people in there.
Right.
What would you say to that?
I have found that those that are experienced, there's very few that have kept their principles. I know Senator Sloan stands out, Senator Hemmings, in everyone's minds. Rep. Meyer was one as well, and I think the whole Republican caucus, for that matter. The ability to convey to your constituency, look them in the eye, and know that whether you're elected or re-elected, you can stand on that principle again. So when they leave office, they're able to carry themselves and hold their heads high. There are others that, you know, the democracy is to purge these things out. That's what this election's all about, is if you're not satisfied, if you find that someone's double talking, someone is breaking promises, is that if we don't have term limits, then the so-called relationship with public union entities and other special interests becomes more polluted in my mind, that the ability for the elected official to truly separate themselves for their constituents' sake versus rather getting reelected because their coffers are building up, their campaign funds are building up with all those campaign contributions, that's what term limits would put an end to.